So I got my hands on Symlin. It is got the shortest half-life, 2 hours. I would take 22 shots a day, managing my blood sugar to compete at the highest level. Every 2 hours I was injecting Symlin to try to mimic what amylin does, which is very similar to what your GLP-1s do. Slows down gastric emptying. I never was hungry, and I was burning fat. And I was like, I unlocked the cheat code.
I'm Dr. Thomas O'Connor, a lifelong powerlifter, board-certified physician, and published academic author. I've taken care of thousands of men on testosterone and steroids, and now I use my media appearances and this YouTube channel to provide education and harm reduction. Subscribe now so I can help you stay strong and healthy.
Retatrutide, GLP, and more on steroids with Colette Nelson. Colette, welcome today. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much. It is an honor. We've traveled in the same circle for some time. It is finally, isn't it going full circle? And now we're together.
Colette, you are a bodybuilder, pro bodybuilder. Look at the picture in the background, guys. And guys, Colette Nelson, incredible pro bodybuilder from the late 1990s into 2000. Tell us first about your history of that and how you got into this incredible world of real medicine.
The story really begins when I was 12 years old. I was in cheerleading and dance and singing, and I was like a triple threat. And I honestly wanted to be famous when I was a little kid. And then I get struck with this type 1 diabetes diagnosis. And I said to my mother the day I was diagnosed, I'm going to fix it. I started going to the gym at literally 12 years old. And I started lifting with guys that were, in their 30s and 40s when I was a little kid. And so my gym journey started very, very young. Then I fell in love with medicine, because think about it. I was this broken body, and I had to biohack myself my whole life. I was biohacking insulin from the get-go. I was doing crazy things like mixing Humalog with the Humulin R. I was splitting up my Lantus 3 times a day. I had quite a history with how I used insulin way outside of the box. So when I was in Michigan State, I thought, I'm going to go to med school. But then I became obsessed with bodybuilding. Like Dr. O'Connor, this obsession takes over your soul. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to be a professional bodybuilder. So what do I need to become the best professional bodybuilder? I needed a nutrition degree. So I need to know absolutely everything about nutrition, because those of you listening, I don't even think it's 85%. It's everything to how you can look like that. It's nutrition. So I became a registered dietitian. So I did my 4 years and my 2 years of a master's. Then after that, I became a certified diabetes educator, because I wanted to master the disease. Because I had to master the disease in order to become this professional bodybuilder. Which, by the way, there has never been a female bodybuilder on the Miss Olympia or on the Arnold Classic stage at a professional level with type 1 diabetes. I am the only one. And then I did 10 years. I had a great run, man, a great run. And in 2014 was my last year, and I really biohacked the entire process. And I was using GLP-1. I'll be open about this, because I think it's fair to explain, the benefits and how there's just a lot of fear-mongering about the medicine. I've been using GLP-1.
Wait, back then?
I've been using it for 20 years, Dr. O'Connor.
What?
20 years. I don't know if there's anybody.
You're the queen of GLP-1s.
I have been biohacking them from Symlin, which is an amylin analog, which came around in 2005, right around Byetta. When I started using Symlin, I realized that the beta cell does not make just insulin. It makes something called amylin. When I discovered that, I was like, why doesn't insulin ever work? I'm always gaining weight. Insulin, you guys, is the most anabolic hormone in the human body. This we know to be true, but it does not discriminate. It is fat, it is protein, it is water, it is sodium. So I was just like, why is this amazing peptide, which insulin is a peptide and a hormone, why is it not doing everything I needed to do? It was because it was missing amylin. Every time you eat, insulin secreted and amylin secreted in like 100-to-1 ratio. So I got my hands on Symlin, which, by the way, Dr. O'Connor, I was probably one of 10 in the United States using it. In my clinic, I was the only one. It is got the shortest half-life, 2 hours. So my story is very unique. I would take 22 shots a day, managing my blood sugar to compete at the highest level. I mean, it was incredible because I had every 2 hours I was injecting Symlin to try to mimic what amylin does, which is very similar to what your GLP-1s do. Slows down gastric emptying. I never was hungry. I was burning fat. And I was like, I unlocked the cheat code. And so 100%. So then when these long-acting esters came out, like Byetta, Bidurion, Victoza, Dr. O'Connor, I have been on every single one of them. I can tell you how they work, what they do, how they make you feel. I have done every single one of them. And what it did for me was I was replacing Symlin's magic with a GLP-1 because they do very, very similar things. And there I was in 2014, I completely biohacked how I stepped on stage. And maybe we could show some of those pictures. That was done with no cardio. I was using an SGLT2. I was using, at the time, Victoza at 1.8 in the morning and 1.2 milligrams at night. I used no thyroid. I used no clenbuterol. I used no fat burners. I don't drink coffee. And I had an amazing physique. And I realized all what we were doing in the bodybuilding world was just so toxic in terms of the crazy stuff we did to burn fat, and you didn't need it. You could really do it with some of these interesting diabetes drugs that did pretty amazing things. And it was an interesting experiment. So when I finished that year in 2014, I took a look at myself. One time I stepped out of myself and I was looking at the whole sport as a whole. And I'm like, what's the end game here? You know what I mean? What's the end game here? And I said, I got all this knowledge that I need to share. And it was it, Dr. O'Connor. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to step away from bodybuilding. I'm going to go back. So I did a 10-year stint of school to finally get my NP and to be able to practice and spread all this knowledge I had, just cumulative over these years, to be able to share it with the world and to be able to practice medicine.
So we know the GLPs are out there. Tell us the GLPs that are out there today for people that maybe don't know.
Yeah. So
and then let's transition into where we are with this GLP is not out there. I hear everyone talking about it. I'm on Retatrutide. I'm like, this is like right now, in my patient practice and all my testos and all these meetings. I'm like, what is this stuff? Because I tried the semaglutide. I got sick. Maybe we'll work. You can help me.
But
maybe.
I'll talk to you, Dr. O'Connor. I'm going to work on you. I'm already going to work on you.
But I'm like, okay, I'm all good for now, guys. But I'll get back to it. But like everyone's on Retatrutide. I'm like, wait a minute. It's not even out there yet. So they're getting it from underground. And again, I'm for people. I want open access for everyone. Right. I almost want socialized medicine because I want people. I don't care. You can call it socialized, nationalized, Republican. I don't give a shit what you call it. But people need better freaking access. Okay. A
lot of people with the GLP-1 got a little sick because that really worked on the gastrointestinal tract and the L cells in the distal ileum, and that caused a lot of these side effects, which and can relate to. And what we realized is when we combined it with the GIP, which we'll get into, that reduced a little bit of the side effects, but the combination was this insane synergy. So now you've got Eli Lilly, the biggest pharmaceutical giant in the world, making billions and millions of dollars. They have a ton of money they can pump into research. They came up with Retatrutide. And this was when they had the brilliance of combining Glucagon, which I had my own hesitations with because I've been fighting Glucagon my whole life. And that's why I loved Symlin. That's why I loved the GLP-1 class, because it suppressed Glucagon. And then they're adding it back in. This paradoxical thing in my brain was going, how is this going to work? So, of course, I'm on Retatrutide right now because I had to attempt this discovery on my own, because I am my own lab rat. I've been that way for
how long you on it?
So when we decided to do this talk, you guys, it isn't FDA approved. So I'm going to say, I'm not telling people to do this. I'm telling you these are my decisions to do on my own and based on my experience. But peptides are available on a research market. It's very important if you're doing this on your own to source them through a doctor or through a compounding pharmacy. Currently, no compounding pharmacies can dispense Retatrutide because it does not have an FDA approval yet. But I had to try this for myself before I could speak about it, because I said, you know what, if this is going to raise my blood sugar, I have to know, because I know there's going to be type 1s out there that are going to want to try this, because there are studies done right now in my office on Mounjaro and type 1 diabetes, and it is incredible. But I could have told you that, I mean, just anecdotally as my own lab rat myself. It is lowering the amount of insulin you need. It is improving blood sugar control. It is lowering the risk of hypoglycemia. What it's doing in the type 1 disease state is truly what I would call standard of care. And it will be, I think, in the future.
But it's not. But for today, it's completely contraindicated.
Right. The studies are coming for type 1,
right.
But for Retatrutide, you guys, this is not FDA approved.
Right.
But it is an incredible.
So let's go with your Retatrutide. I mean, let's lower we have to lower the IQ a little bit, because the average bear here is smart. The average bear here is smart, but this is, guys, it just shows you that how insane the biotechnology is. And I'm not for the companies. I want people to have access to all this, and I'm working on it for you guys. You know, it's funny. If it's a prescription, I hate it. But if it's a peptide, I'll take it, man. It's like it's like now that it's not available, it's like everyone wants Retatrutide. But like once the companies make billions of dollars, which I'm not for that, guys. I'm against that with my soul. I want accessibility. But okay, let's go. So you explained it. You're living it, sleeping it, and pooping it. Okay.
Yeah, literally.
Go into Retatrutide. It's a GLP, it's a GIP, and it's Glucagon. Tell us about that a little bit more. Explain it to us, but dumb it down. Dumb it down, please. Dumb it down.
So you guys, when you think about the fundamental, you've got the glucose-like peptide one. Okay, that was in your semaglutide. That's your Ozempic. That suppresses your appetite, slows down gastric emptying, stimulates insulin in response to food, and it helps the postprandial blood sugar. Then you have GIP, which everybody loves to say. It's the glucose insulinotropic polypeptide. You love that? You got to say that 100 times.
Wow.
And what that does is that's more the insulin sensitivity, the improvement in triglycerides. It's supporting the CNS, your central nervous system, and the appetite. It's really diving into your metabolic health. So it's doubling down on GLP-1. Now you got that beautiful synergy. We saw pretty impressive weight loss. You're looking at 20 to 22%, okay, on just a dual agonist. The genius is...
Hold on, and that's tirzepatide.
That's tirzepatide, yeah, thank you. So that's just tirzepatide, your dual agonist. So then they came up with this idea of adding glucagon. Now this sounds crazy, because just so you guys know, the GLP-1 and the GIP are working to suppress glucagon. That is why you're increasing insulin sensitivity. So dummy this down, you guys. Insulin goes up when you eat, glucagon goes down. Glucagon makes insulin not work. It's inhibitory to insulin. So whenever glucagon rises, okay, but this is where they thought, glucagon, what does it do in the body? It is working with glucose homeostasis. I want you guys to think of something. So you're fasting. You guys are on this intermittent fasting kick. And you're like, okay, I'm an intermittent fast. What do you think's providing energy to the body? Glucagon rises. Now, glucagon is going to go to the liver and say, hey, I need some gluconeogenesis. I need some amino acids. I need some glycogen. I need to break down glycogenolysis, gluconeogenesis, and break down fat. Okay, so that's how you're getting energy in this fasted state. Now, what if I give in this GLP-1, GIP, and I give glucagon, and ketones, exactly, and I get, which is an amazing fuel source. What if I give glucagon? It's a receptor agonist. It's going to fire this glucagon all day long. Now, what it's doing at this low-grade action is, because it's working on these energy substrates, it's looking for the highest energy substrate in the body. What is that? Fat. 9 kilocalories per gram. Wow. It's going to look for fat, so it's going to preferentially burn fat. And in that oxidation, Dr. O'Connor, remember the Holy Grail? I'm going to burn fat, spare muscle. So it's going to look for fat, not muscle. It's going to preferentially burn fat and then stimulate your appetite. So when the normal person begins a weight loss journey, go right ahead. Try it, everybody. Go out there and do it. It's going to lower your basal metabolism. And so now you're left with the lower basal metabolism. Everything down-regulated. Yeah, you feel what these drugs do, what a GLP-1, GIP, and now a glucagon agonist, your Retatrutide, it's going to fire up your engine. So no depression in BMR. In fact, it's going to raise your BMR. You're going to raise your fat burning. We've never seen it. We've got a 24% decrease in body fat, so 24% reduction in body weight, highest that we have on the market. And actually, they think that's even higher. If you extended the study, because it was like 48 weeks, if you extend the study, we could probably get to 30%. I mean, it is outdoing your bariatric surgery. Like, why would you do bariatric surgery? I mean, these drugs are really, they're superseding what you can get out of bariatric surgery without changing your entire physiology.
How much caloric restriction is coming out of that? How much caloric restriction?
These are the good questions. Like, are these drugs, a lot of people, when, Ozempic and everything, we saw what happened with Ozempic. No one could eat. I mean, I saw it too,
I fucking love eating. This is like, I don't want to, I just do it myself, man. I hate semaglutide. Hate it.
And listen, that's a fair shake. I will tell the people that didn't like, and I tell my patients, I'm like, to be a provider in this space, you really got to know these drugs, because you got to pick and choose what you want from each one. Who is your person that you're dealing with? So the Retatrutide really works for that person that you can eat on this, because every iteration of the next to the next to the next, they're lowering the GLP-1. See, what you have to understand, the GLP-1 is what caused a lot of the side effects. So now you have much less GLP-1. Dr. O'Connor, you can eat on this. Yes,
I'm going on it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because all I care about is so I don't want on testosterone and even a little steroids, but just say testosterone with this Retatrutide. This is truly the holy grail. Potentially. It's really what about
looking
side
like
effects?
That. So this is where, the rubber meets the road, right? Like, how are we going to deal with the side effects? Because they're similar to, what we've seen in the past with the other classes. So you're going to see, the gastrointestinal, effects. And I feel not as much as you did with the GLP-1. Remember, you're lowering the amount of GLP-1. So there's less GLP-1 with the synergy of the GIP and the synergy of the glucagon. But the biggest one that I see is the constipation. Okay, so it's more, that since it's slowing down the gastric emptying, the motility in the lower GI is less. So, you have to be very cognizant of that. And I do certain things for my patients, from the natural levels of magnesium citrate down to how you're eating, how you're, how much water you're drinking. The gallbladder, I will say this about the gallbladder. So any rapid weight loss can cause gallstones. So we once again blamed it on this class, but it's any rapid weight loss. So, we have to be cognizant of that. I'm looking at bilirubins. I'm looking at, if I need to do an abdominal ultrasound, and I have seen it. And, we're giving Uricidal. We actually do that preemptively for patients that need to lose a lot of weight. I mean, these are things you got to think about. You guys, these are not really stuff, guys.
All internal medicine. That's why my testos have to be smart.
That's right. This. Yes, and then, you see, now I'm going to go back to your point where you said, Colette, I don't like semaglutide. I don't like not being hungry. And there was a discussion in a paper last year about increased suicide ideation, and I want to talk about that because what I was finding, and this is, somebody sat down with me. I had put them on a GLP-1, metabolically dumpster fires, and they said to me, what you did to me, Colette? And I've never had this. Hurts, you guys. I love what I do. You took away my joy. He has improvement in his A1C. He's improvement in his blood sugar levels.
Who gives
and
a shit?
Right. He said, remember, food is very, it has a very big component in people's lives, whether it be religious ceremonies, holidays.
Food, sex.
Food, sex. I mean, so he said to me, my joy was in, and he's like, I don't have any joy anymore. You took away my joy. So someone like that, you guys, you have to pick your battles, right? You have to pick your battles.
This is better. This is going to, wow. All right, when's it coming out? I just want to keep it very succinct for all these guys here.
So what we're looking at, it's in phase 3 right now. It is predictive to come out maybe second or third quarter in 2026. I know Lily is, the data looks good. The only thing that was somewhat concerning was the increase in heart rate. So I know people have seen this. If you guys read the data, you're going to see that. But I want you guys to understand, we have actually seen that in other GLP-1s. And what we're seeing is because it's increasing your thermogenesis. So you're increasing the metabolic activity in your body, increasing your ATP in your mitochondria. So that may raise your heart rate. But what they found in 24 weeks is that it leveled out.
But that's awesome. Thank you so much, Colette. I want to give more work together on this. And I want all you guys, Colette's in New York City, but she's licensed in what states? Because you do telemedicine.
Yes, I do telehealth. So I'm in the following states, okay? So we've got Florida, we've got California, Texas, Michigan, and New Jersey.
Okay. And she's working on more. You could see her on Testosteronology on the provider list. All you healthcare providers, you want to join the club, you want to come to meetings with me and her, wink, wink, and a bunch of other incredible healthcare providers that are delivering the highest standard of care for men and women, damn it, women, yes, that are on androgens, from testosterone in perimenopausal, even premenopausal, through all the way through even people using steroids. I'm a harm reduction. I don't give a blessing on it. People use steroids. I use steroids. It's got to be minimized. It's got to be protective. It's ethical. It's harm reduction. And then this is what essentially is testosteronology. Colette, thank you so much. Guys, contact this amazing woman. Women, contact this amazing woman. She's a menopausal expert. She's got so many credentials after her name. I just couldn't, the paper ran off. I mean, she got so, she lives
I like collecting credentials.
collecting, and she's insane from the heart, as you can see. She's real and she's incredible. Thank you so much, Colette. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll do more.
Look forward to hearing you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.